It's a middleweight matchup at the Apex. Dan Tom here with MMA Junkie to help you break down the main event for UFC on ESPN 22 between Robert Whittaker and Kelvin Gastelum. Whittaker, who was initially scheduled to face former title challenger Paulo Costa, will now meet a man he was scheduled to face back at UFC 234 in Kelvin Gastelum. Whittaker, of course, had to pull out on fight day for that bout due to a collapsed bowel, as both men have seen ups and downs since then. However, with a good showing on Saturday, each fighter could make a case to get back at the now champion Israel Adesanya. At the time of this video, the odds makers and the public are siding with your former champ Whittaker in the neighborhood of minus 250, with the comeback on your underdog Gastelum in the neighborhood of plus 210. Now, when this fight was booked at 234, the line was certainly tighter, and perhaps you could argue that it should be tighter now. However, I don't disagree with who is favored, as Whittaker should have an on-paper edge in a couple areas, including, but not the least of which, the fact that he is actually preparing for a 5-round bout. Sure, he has to switch from an orthodox opponent in Costa to a southpaw in Gastelum, but luckily for Whittaker, he seems to do better in the open stance matchup, as he is 4-0 against UFC level lefties. Now, they're both used to being the faster man. The speed equation will be interesting. However, I do suspect that Whittaker is the faster man, especially looking at that fight with Darren Till. Not to use MMA math, but even with that southpaw, how he attacked his leg. Now, Kelvin Gastelum under Rafael Cordeiro knows a thing or two about Muay Thai, knows a thing or two about leg kicks, but however, as we saw in his bout with Darren Till, when a fighter attacks his leg, they tend to land at a high percentile. So for me, as I will detail more in my in-depth breakdown on MMAJunkie.com, I will be leaning with the former champ Robert Whittaker for speed, leg kicks, and don't sleep on the Australian's wrestling. He's very good defensively. That is the former champ Whittaker. And although Gastelum comes from that American wrestling base, he hits those Granby rolls quite well, or his fat man roll variations, if you will, with all due respect. I think it's going to be scrambly. However, I'm not sure he's going to have an edge over Whittaker there. So I'll go with Whittaker by decision, because Gastelum is very tough and durable. However, to see results this weekend as well as my breakdown, you're going to have to go to MMAJunkie.com.